This is Capsule on liveandlimbo.com. My name is Sean Chin.
And I'm Dakota Arsenault, and this is an adventure into music, film, and pop culture.
How's it going, Dakota?
It's going pretty well on this Saturday grayish morning.
Saturday mornings are pretty nice. I like them. But there's no more Saturday cartoons. They canceled that they stopped that a few months ago, actually.
Really?
Yeah, there's no cartoons on any network on a Saturday morning in North America.
Well, isn't there? I guess you can go to the all cartoon networks like Teletoon or.
Yeah, but that's not no, I mean on the cable networks.
I know what you mean. Yeah, where you'd get up and you have your 5 or 6 shows that you'd watch from 7 to 10.
Yeah, I remember that when I was growing up.
What ones were your favorites?
Oh my god, I can't remember all of them, but I used to watch Samurai Pizza Cats.
I don't know that one.
What? How did you not hear about that one?
I don't know.
What did you used to watch?
I really liked Pinky and the Brain.
Oh yeah, Pinky and the Brain. Yes.
I also like the older stuff, like the old Looney Tunes and things like that.
Oh man, yeah, I miss those days. Well, those in the future, our kids won't have them, so whatever.
They'll all be on Netflix.
Yeah, that's a new way to go, I guess. So that works out well. So busy week as usual here at Live and Limbo. I got to check out this cool guy you might know.
Who is it?
Mr. Sam Smith.
Sam Smith. He was at the ACC, right?
Yes, at the Air Canada Centre with George Ezra, who I've not heard of.
That's quite the step up for him.
I know. He went from the Mod Club which had 500 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was supposed to play Cool House, and that got canceled. He was sick, or it was not worth his time. And then now this year, to kick January off, he sells out the Air Canada Centre.
That's pretty crazy.
Is that surprising?
Yes and no. It's surprising in the fact of it's crazy to think of how 1 year you can go from, one of the smaller venues where it's basically nothing against the Mod Club. I enjoy it there. But, if you're a local artist, it's not difficult to play there.
Yeah.
To headlining at the ACC, which is reserved for only the biggest of biggest musical acts because it's very difficult to sell out, is quite the step up.
Oh, absolutely. You'll never see him in such a intimate venue ever again.
Unless it's very specific, an intimate night with Sam Smith, where tickets are $500 a piece.
Or a secret show or something like that. The same thing goes for a lot of musicians, I think, last year, Charlie XCX at the Hoxton. That's never going to happen again.
Where was she last time?
The Hoxton.
I know, but where is she playing now?
Oh, I don't know. That was her last tour. And then I guess her next tour will be this year or next year, and it will not be at the Hoxton.
I wouldn't be surprised if she does something like Molson Amphitheater.
Yeah.
Or what's the Echo Beach?
Echo Beach, yeah. She'll step up there for sure. I'm not sure about the Air Canada Centre, but one day.
Yeah. But it's interesting we talk about Sam Smith because I saw him last summer at Bonnaroo just before his album came out.
So that was right before he exploded.
It was.
Was that before the Mod Club show?
It was middle of June. I'm not too sure when the Mod Club show was.
The Mod Club show was in April.
Okay, so just after that. So when I saw him, it was less than a month before his album was supposed to come out, but it had leaked, so I'd heard it. He was literally, I think, the first or second act of the day for one of the days, which is reserved for pretty small acts. And it was pretty packed. And right after the show, I said to my girlfriend that he's going to absolutely blow up. And there's no way that he'll be playing small or early slots like this ever again. And sure enough, 2 months later, he's huge now.
That's expected. His music is up there. He's like the British Michael Bublé.
He is. He's easy to listen to. He appeals to, young people and older crowds while not being in your face or offensive or edgy or things like that. He just has a really good voice with some slick pop beats behind him.
And I was talking to some of the fans right at the very front. So I was in the photo pit. So I spoke with some of like the girls that were right at the front. I asked them what time did they line up there, and they said from noon that day. So remember, this is in January, in the middle of winter here in Canada, so it's pretty
Insanity.
cold out. Yeah.
Like, were these people wanting to be like right up against the railing?
Yeah, like right against the railing.
Wow. That's crazy.
Like I lined up at like 11 a.m. for Lord, but that was like in March. This is January, like minus what, 10, 20.
And there's also going to be less of a push because with the Lord show, where was that again?
That was at Sound Academy.
Sound Academy, where the whole thing is general admission. So, no matter what, you have to fight for your spot. Whereas at ACC, there's only a select number of people who have the pit tickets.
No, that's true too. Yes, very true.
So that's even crazier.
From the pit, I looked around the whole stadium. It was full all the way around, all the levels going all the way up.
Wow. I saw Jack White, and even that wasn't sold out there.
Really?
It was packed, but it wasn't sold out packed. I was in the 300s or whatever it was, and we were able to move up to basically the second row.
Really? Okay.
I had about 15th row tickets, I think, and we moved up to the second row.
Now, at the Air Canada Centre, I consider sold out like when all the seats are gone, but I've never seen like the pit like totally full. Like I think it stops usually at like the soundboard area.
I think they do that on purpose.
On purpose, okay.
So that way there's no rioting or things like that.
Yeah, because I've never seen people like fully packed up at the soundboard and all the way to the back of the pit. That would be crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
who do we know that works at the ACC? Sarah doesn't, does she?
No, she does not work at the ACC, but she did review the show. They put her all the way up in the gondola, the media gondola.
Ooh, isn't it exciting up there?
Well, there was only 2 reviewers of the show. Her and someone from the Toronto Sun.
Wow.
They were very strict on media for this show.
Wow, and we got in? That's pretty cool.
Only 5 photographers, and I guess only 2 reviewers.
That's awesome. That goes to show what
I think they had
awesome work you guys are doing.
Toronto Star, Sun, the Air Canada Centre photographer Tom Pandy, my friend, and the promoter Golden Voice photographer, and then me.
That's cool. You know about the We Day stuff?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen the We Day stuff from up in the press box, and it was pretty interesting. But the problem was when I was up there, they didn't have the speakers turned on, so we could only hear from the speakers below us. So it was a little hard to understand what was going on at times. So the people that were giving speeches and lectures couldn't understand what they were saying. But when the bands were playing, we knew what Headley song it was, and we knew Cardinal Offishall song it was, and things like that.
So you couldn't hear that Craig Kalberger guy talk?
We can hear them. You just can't make out what they were saying.
I knew that guy from like when I was a kid, like when he was smaller. Mm-hmm. Now he's like old. Well, older.
They're still fairly young. I think they're only like around 30.
I know, but I've known him for a while now. I've never been to the We Day thing, but we should attend next year.
It's fun. It's a lot of screaming kids.
And Headley. Who I've seen too many times already by accident. Okay, let's talk about something that... let's talk about some fan mail. You want some fan mail?
I would love some fan mail. The most I get is angry reactions on Twitter.
You got some good reactions lately.
I know. You've been pushing me to tweet from the Live in Limbo account. I can't speak this morning, and surprisingly, people are getting engaged. I think the trick is to pose it as a question and not just as a statement.
It's a good one. Where did you learn that from?
I don't know. I think
Google.
Yes, all my Googling. No, normally I find, the most popular Twitter people, they say something borderline offensive or whatever, and that makes a huge outbreak of people, replying to it. But for most people, I think you need to pose it as a question if you want to get the responses.
Yeah, absolutely. And so back to the fan mail. So from Jason Q, I won't say his full last name. He has a middle name too, but I'm just going to call him Jason Q. Hey, Jason Q, if you're listening. So he says, in quotes, "I love the podcast." I think he's referring to Capsule. "Just curious, do you need any help from a capable writer /producer /radio host? I would be happy to contribute in any way. So Jason, thank you for emailing me. I get a few of these, but I'll respond to you. So I think like with Live and Limbo in general, I get like at least one to three emails a week from people trying to contribute, whether it's a writer or a photographer. I read all the emails, but I can't reply to all of them. When I do, I'll just ask a little more about you and like what you've done in the past. For the podcast, though, I think it's a little more, since it's relatively new. It's only been out for a year now. Live and Limbo's been out for 5 years, so I like expanding on that. But for the podcast, I'm just gonna try grow it internally right now. So that's no offense to you, but thank you for writing.
Well, what happens if he sounds like Barry White?
Then I'll hire him.
It's bad enough that I'm kind of fighting for airplay too. Between you and Andreas, you have it locked down.
Yeah, you found good ways to get rid of him.
I'll never tell.
No, but that's good. Yeah, so if you have any questions, just feel free to email them to me or any one of our other editors. I think, Dakota, you'll be getting your own email soon.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, very exciting. You'll be getting lots of spam. Sarah can tell you that.
I already get lots from like North by Northeast and things like that. I don't know how they have my email address.
Oh, that's good. No, I think I gave it to them.
Did you? Oh, so you're the reason why I get all that spam.
You're welcome. Let's talk some movies now.
I love talking movies.
One of the biggest movies of the year, I guess, nominated and critically acclaimed and predicted to do well at the Oscars is Boyhood. I've also seen The Imitation Game and a few others, but Boyhood stood out to me the most. Do you think it will win?
Do I think it will win?
Yes.
Probably. It's a little too early to tell just because so much of the Oscars is about the politics and who's won before and who hasn't won and who else is nominated and all that sort of BS sort of thing. But as far as merit goes, I think it's the most deserving, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if it won.
So I'm terrible with names. So like when the director was filming this 12 years ago, so this is a film that was filmed for 1 week every year for 12 years. Did he tell people about this film, or did this just happen? Like he just put this out now?
It sounds like it was kept fairly under wraps because in general, for a movie to be made, it's basically a miracle. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. It's a miracle to get it done because there's so many moving components. And will you get all the money? Will the shots be right? Will the actors be good? Will the editing be good? Will someone want to distribute it? Like every single step of the way, if it gets to the next one, it's a miracle. And that's just your regular average movie. For doing something over 12 years, nothing like this has ever been done. I think from what I've read about it, that was kept fairly under wraps. That Richard Linklater, the director, he's a fairly low-key guy. He does all this stuff independently anyways. So it's not like he had a bunch of studio heads pressuring him to make sure it gets done and things like that. And he was working with his friends Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette. So it's not like he had to worry about, oh, will this big movie star be available next year? No, it's more so, we're going to work with people we know and we like and people that are going to be able to commit to this.
Are these like actual like famous actors?
Well, Ethan Hawke is pretty famous.
But so no, I guess he didn't tell anyone he was working on this?
And not that I'm aware of. I'm sure people in his inner circle, his family, his close friends. I'm sure when he was shooting the before movies with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy was well aware of what he was doing and things like that. But as far as I know, it's not like,
that's
Warner
insane
Brothers,
to keep it a secret for so long.
It is pretty crazy, but if you're working on something for so long with the amount of work and effort it takes to complete it, I'd want to keep it under wraps lest you go around and tell everyone, oh, hey, this is going to be the most ambitious thing ever done. Let's hope it doesn't suck. And then if it sucks, he's got egg on his face because he's been bragging about it for 12 years.
Like you're how old? You're like 20.
I'm 25.
So that's like half your life.
Pretty much. Like watching it while the character in the movie is a few years younger than me, I could definitely relate to the way he was growing up as far as like, when the new video game system came out, what that was like, or, the invention of cell phones and the internet and things like that, and how that sort of affects his life. So even though I'm a bit older, I can definitely relate to growing up in that era.
When I heard about this film, the first thing that came to mind was like, how did they keep the technology consistent? Like now they have 4K. How in the world did he know what was going to happen, like film wise? So when I watched it, I could see the quality change like throughout the film.
It's pretty crazy because over the last 10 to 15 years, the quality of cameras have absolutely skyrocketed to the point where it's about 4 to 6 times better as far as resolution goes.
Yeah.
Going to like 4K, 2-3 years ago, 2K was a big thing. And a few years before that, 1K was huge. And so the fact that they managed to keep it looking similar enough was pretty interesting. I think Richard Linklater, the director, just wanted it as simple as possible. It wasn't about being showy or flashy or the best picture. It was just about, let's keep it simple, let's keep the lighting good and keep the editing clean, and it all flows together pretty well because for the most part, scenes will change and you don't even realize a year has passed until halfway through the scene and you're like, oh, wait, they're referencing something from before. This is now a year later.
I love how they don't say a year later or something like that. And I have no idea how they kept the look consistent all the way through. That's insane.
It's pretty crazy. The daughter in the film was actually played by the director's daughter.
Oh, really? Wow.
And apparently about halfway through, she's not an actress herself, about halfway through, she wanted to stop doing it. So she tried to convince her dad to kill off her character and he wouldn't let her.
Really? Why?
Well, she's not an actress. So it was
She's pretty good though.
She was great. It was that sort of non-acting acting that it's a...
Isn't that against a guild or something, though? Don't you need to be an Actors Guild member to be in a movie?
You do, but what I mean by non-acting acting is it's a sense of realism. You use non-professionals for it. There's quite a few very famous. They're called realism films where they take non-actors. If you want someone to play a construction worker, you hire an actual construction worker and just say, okay, do what you do like you do on your job, sort of thing.
Oh, that's a thing?
Yeah, it actually is. There's quite a few.
I could still be famous.
You could be a
podcaster,
writer, and whatever else you do. I don't know how to describe your job.
Yeah. Hey, so for when the film started, it was cool because it's an IFC film.
Yes.
I thought they only made TV. Like I thought they were only a TV station.
No, they produce quite a bit as well. I don't know how much they do, but they're more of a distribution thing.
Do you watch IFC?
I don't have cable at home, so...
Well, there goes their support. Anyways, so when the movie was cool because right off the bat, they played Yellow by Coldplay, and I think the soundtrack in this film was phenomenal.
It was pretty crazy because, it went through like the different popular stuff of that era, but it wasn't dated. It wasn't like, oh, this song is only popular in 2001, so it's not going to do that. It's like, no, these are songs that were popular then, but we understand why they're popular, and it doesn't make the film seem really dated and cheesy and corny.
Mm-hmm. I like the interaction at the beginning of the film with the two kids and how they're like singing, and then they just snap to crying, and then they're like fighting all the time. And so, tell me, what were your thoughts on this film as a whole?
It blew me away.
Like, was it slow at the beginning, or you're trying to figure out what's happening, or did you get it?
I went in with a bit of understanding as far as how the processed work of each scene is a year sort of thing. But no, I was really engrossed right from the get-go. I thought that it moved at a very perfect pace where, there were nice lingering shots, specifically like when at the very beginning when they're about to move and the kid is painting his room and he paints over the height chart.
Yeah.
You know, he looks at it for a second, kind of admires it, but doesn't make a big deal about it, and then just paints right over it. You know, that's something that any other movie would have made a big sentimental schmaltzy thing out of it. But for this, it was just oh, hey, yeah, last year I was this height. Okay, now we're moving. Bye.
I agree. That's pretty cool. And so, as I found this interesting. So, as we see in this film how Mason's life progresses, in parallel, we see the entire timeline of Apple products.
I thought that was kind of interesting. The really old laptops and
they started off with the see-through blue colored iMac. I was like, yes.
I remember those from when I was in school.
The product placement is like bananas.
It was pretty cool. I like the old computers. That was funny. And the old video game systems as well.
Oh yeah, Game Boy Color. I had that same one, the purple one.
And when I think they had a GameCube when that first came out.
Yeah, I had all those things. So it kind of made me nostalgic too.
Exactly, because you're only a year older than me, so you and I can kind of relate to, while we aren't that direct age, we can definitely remember when those things came out.
Yeah, like he's only a few years younger than us. What? So the film ended when he was 18?
Yes.
So we're like 25-ish, whatever.
Yeah. We're like
so
7 years older.
Relatively close. Mm-hmm. And they did the Harry Potter lineup for the books.
Oh, yeah. I remember...
you dressed up like Harry Potter?
I didn't dress up, but I remember going to the movies when they first came out, and I think one of them, my parents let us, me and my younger brothers, let us get out of school early to go to one of the screenings one time.
Why didn't you dress up?
I don't know. I was Harry Potter once for Halloween, I believe.
Oh, okay, so you did dress up.
Yes, just not for a specific Harry Potter event.
Like you had the glasses and the cape and the scar on the forehead?
Yes, I
did.
did.
You have pictures?
Not that you'll ever find.
Oh, damn it. I was going to put that in the show notes.
Oh, no. You just have to visit my parents' house if you want to see pictures of me.
What were some of your favorite quotes from this film or moments?
I really liked the moment when Ethan Hawke was driving the kids to the baseball game, and he's trying to ask them how their day was going and things like that. And the kids aren't really giving them anything. Yeah, it was good. Okay, thanks, Dad, sort of thing. And, he pulls over and he's like, why is this so hard? Why can't you go, Billy was kind of mean to me and it was kind of rough and I want to do this, but another kid was doing it, blah, blah, blah. And the kids are like, well, it's not easy. I thought that was a very interesting moment. Then they flipped it on him and they said, okay, Dad, how are you doing? And he's like, yeah, good, let's go. It was just kind of a funny, cute moment where he wanted the kids to kind of put out the emotional needs, but didn't want to reciprocate it.
There was definitely some philosophical underlying tones throughout the film, like when they ask the dad, or when they ask their mom, do you still love Dad? And then she's like, yes, I still love him, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy for us to be together. And I guess many people have this as well. And so I was happy when he avoided the whole emo phase. He could have went goth at one point. He had black fingernails.
Yeah. I think that was more to be different.
Yeah, but then that was only for like one segment. And then it could have either went like full on goth but then he went normal again.
Well, they apparently used a lot of what they would do is every year they would get together. The director would have some scenes planned, and then
what's trending now?
Well, he would ask them like, okay, well, what are you guys doing in school? What's going on in your lives? Things like that. What's going on with your family? And then, so they'd have the structure for the scene, but then add in the details afterwards. So they would rehearse it like a play, and then they would try different things. They're like, okay, so Mason, kid that's playing Mason, Eller Coltrane. So, what's going on with you at school? Things like that. What's your attitude towards certain things? Let's use that.
Totally. So one of my favorite quotes or moments in the film was when the dad and Mason are just lying in their, I think it's the dad's house, or what was the dad's house, And then Mason's like, do you believe in elves? And then the dad's like, yes, of course there's elves. Like, there's whales. And then he's like, no, but are there elves right now in the world? And he's like, no, technically, no elves.
I think he was saying magical creatures or something like that.
Yeah.
And he said whales are magical creatures. Yeah.
Well, they are kind of, but because they're like huge, they're like a miracle to be alive, but they're not magical.
They're the size of a bus. You rarely see them.
No, their heart is the size of a bus. No, their heart is the size of a car.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's magical.
I don't know if you remember this, but last year when we did our Oscar roundtable podcast and we had Adrian on the podcast.
Adriana.
Yes. I think it was either you or Andreas. One of you asked, what movies are we most looking forward to for 2014? And I said, I don't know. And she actually said Boyhood, and she kind of talked about it.
Oh, she called it out?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, I had no idea. How did you remember that?
I just remember that because after she said it, I went and looked it up. And I was like, oh, yeah. I kind of vaguely remember hearing about this.
Well, how did she know about it?
She clearly spends way more time learning this stuff than I do.
Wow, so she called it. That's amazing. And
I'm too busy going to concerts.
Yeah, well, it's a balanced lifestyle, balanced diet. Anyway, she'll be back on for our Oscar panel this year.
That's exciting.
I'm excited for that. I'll probably lose the trivia contest again.
We just have to make sure that you answer first so that you're not stealing my answers.
I told Andreas that because that's what I'll do. Like, that's the default thing for me to do. Like, how can I not do that? So I'll answer first.
Well, you don't spend your life obsessing over movie trivia like I do, so...
I don't even remember these people's names. I'm a big picture kind of person. You probably know that by now.
You're always thinking about everything.
Yes, it's hard to do that. So it's hard to do, like, the very detailed stuff. But that's where you come in, so yay.
This is where you're wrong, Sean, and this is why I'm going to tell you, all right? So listen up. That's what I'm going to be like, all right?
Okay. So one of the most emotional parts for me was when, let's see how this goes. So this is when both of the kids are about to move out, and the mom is like, she's talking to Mason, and she starts crying because he's just ready to leave. And she's like, so I went through those 3 divorces, or two or three divorces.
I think it was 3.
3? Or maybe she was still with that last guy.
Who knows?
No. I think they left. Okay. 3 divorces. And she went through school, studied again, got a great job. And she's like, now it's my funeral. And then he's like, no, I think you're skipping like 40 years. But like that was pretty emotional because most people do go through something like that. Like, you work hard to get to where you want. Your kids are gone. And now it's just you again. So it's like, did you feel fulfilled in that lifetime?
Yeah. You have 20 years. Did you feel fulfilled in those 20 years?
What are your thoughts?
I think it's one of those things where once you become a parent, it'll become even more emotional. But watching it was an emotional scene. It's like, I remember when I went away to college that my mom was also upset about it and things like that.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't.
See, so she probably cried.
Oh, specifically in the movie.
No, you.
Oh, no, in real life? No, I did not. Yes, my mother did. Quite a bit.
See, so it was the exact same thing.
It is. No, I understand exactly where...
Don't you feel bad for making your mother cry?
No?
Oh, man, she's going to cry again when she hears this.
Probably. I'm not going to tell her to listen to this
Hi,
one.
Mrs. Arsenault. I'll send her I'll post it on your Facebook wall and she'll probably see it.
Yeah? Okay.
You're cool, Mrs. Arsenault. Shout outs to Mrs. Arsenault.
Her name is Deanna.
Deanna. You're cool. Okay. You raised a good son. I hope you're listening.
Oh, then I'm definitely not making her listen to this. I don't want her knowing that.
Are you like all red now?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So this film as a whole, how do you see it compared to the other contenders for the Oscar nominees?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to win Best Picture.
Like you're guaranteeing it?
Pretty much. I would say at this point, 90%.
It would be an upset if it did not win.
Yes. I can see it being upset, but at this point, it's definitely the front runner. Patricia Arquette was also nominated for supporting actress. I'm pretty sure she has that in the bag as well. They might win screenplay as well, best original screenplay.
Yeah.
Trying to remember what else I was nominated for. I don't think Ethan Hawke will win.
Why not? I thought he was pretty good.
I think he was great. I just think that
he was like a bad dad, like almost alcoholic, and then he turned born again Christian.
It was just a change in priorities where he grew up.
And for him, he grew up and he has to do everything all over again with a new baby.
Yeah. And he's probably going to do it right the second time around.
Hopefully.
The reason why I say that I don't think he's going to win is because he's up against J.K. Simmons from Whiplash, who seems like the leader, if not Edward Norton from Birdman.
Not Michael Keaton?
He's in the lead actor.
Oh, lead actor. Oh, I need to catch up on these films. I'm so screwed.
Yeah, Birdman's pretty good.
Okay. Is it like Batman?
Not in the slightest.
So Michael Keaton's the first person that can say he was Batman and Birdman.
Birdman is made up.
Yes, Batman's real.
I'm not even going to touch that one now.
Okay. Speaking of Oscars, man, you're doing again your highly popular Oscar Primer series, and you've done 2 entries so far.
And it's already killing me. It's a lot of work that goes into them because it's not just the writing, but I have to make sure that I'm seeing as many nominated films as possible because I'm doing 2 a week.
Yeah.
And then in each post, there's 3 different movies I'm talking about. So that's 6 movies a week I'm writing about. That's quite a bit.
How do you do that? As you watch the movie, do you take notes, such as when you're at a concert taking notes?
Not so much. Not unless it's something that's a lot more complex and difficult. The way I'm doing the Oscar primers is I'm picking the film. I'm starting with the Best Picture nominee, going over all the things that it's nominated for. So I'm looking at Boyhood. So I would write about Boyhood and why it deserves to be in the Best Picture and what its chances are winning. And then it's also nominated for 2 acting categories. So I talk about the actors. And then, it's also nominated for, let's see, what else? I've got this up in front of me. Editing. So I would talk about the editing for that. But, I could be talking about the cinematography on it, but it's not nominated for that. So I just completely skip over that. So it's only the nominees with how they stand to win and how they stack up against the rest of the category and things like that. So that way I'm not wasting time talking about things where it doesn't matter. So, something like the Lego movie, which I believe was on my last one. Mm-hmm. No, was it? No. I think that one's coming up because I just watched it recently. I can't remember. Lego Movie was not nominated for animated feature. It was only nominated for Best Original Song. So I don't have to talk about how it stands up as an animated feature. I probably will say a few words about it, but mostly that entry will be talking about the song, the merits of the song, what it means, how it stacks up, things like that. So I save a bit of time by only talking about what I need to.
And so I guess while you're doing it, because you might as well do it since you're a big movie fan anyways, but is it like, I don't know, it's like continuous ongoing research almost?
It really is. I have to make sure I'm watching at least 2 to 4 movies a week.
Do you stop at moments to write or like gather thoughts, or do you just watch the film in whole?
I just watch the film in whole.
When I was watching Boyhood, I took notes while watching. And I would stop like every 10 minutes.
Yeah? Did you find that helped you understand it more?
Yeah.
That's good then. I don't know. I guess I'm pretty good at picking up the movies.
Did watching Boyhood like make you want to buy an iPhone?
No, it did not. You're not.
God damn it. What do they have to do?
Me.
They like put a subliminal message inside this great movie and it didn't work.
You have to buy me it.
Okay.
That's the only way I'll switch.
That will happen one day. Okay.
That'll be my business.
Yes. No, that will be your phone, not your business. You're not
if you're
having
paying
two.
for it, then I don't care.
Okay.
It made me lose my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, yes, we were talking about notes and things like that. When I'm watching it, for the most part, I can pretty well understand what the meaning is and all that sort of thing, and formulate my thoughts and opinions. As far as opinions go, I actually sometimes it might take a day or two for it to really sink in. Like a movie like what was one that I just saw? Selma. That one kind of took a couple days to really sink in, to understand the gravity and how amazing that film was.
I heard Selma's a good film. I need to watch that one. I don't know any of the actors. I only know Oprah's in it.
She has a small part. Did you see Interstellar?
Yes.
Okay, the guy that played the principal, the black guy.
Oprah's in it?
Oprah's in Selma.
Interstellar.
No, Oprah's not in Interstellar.
That would be awesome.
The principal, when Matthew McConaughey goes and shows them the textbook, and they go on about how the moon landing was just a whatever communist thing to do to control the masses, whatever it was. The black principal, he's the lead in Selma. He plays Martin Luther King Jr.
Wait, the guy that goes into space with them?
No, just the principal. You know when his daughter gets in trouble for bringing in the textbook with the
yeah, that guy.
And he argues with the teacher.
I thought when you said principal, you meant like the professor guy. I'm like, he's white.
No, that's Michael Caine.
Yeah, I know.
I know who Michael Caine is.
That would have been awkward.
He's Alfred.
Yeah, Alfredo.
So if it's a more complicated movie, something like even like Inherent Vice, which the plot makes zero sense. In fact, the plot doesn't even matter to the movie. I usually will read a little bit.
How does that work?
It's more about the setting. It's about the atmosphere, and about how, the 60s were all so full of hope and love and things like that. By the time the 70s came around, everyone was really paranoid because the war was in full swing.
Is that like a pun? Swing?
No.
Oh, okay. It's the 70s.
Oh, yeah, swing. Yeah, I get what you're saying now.
I'm sorry.
I'm coming up with like 5 thoughts at a head, and you're seeing if I'm making puns.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yes.
That's okay.
Continue.
But yeah, Inherent Vice. It really the plot does not matter to the movie, because the lead character, Joaquin Phoenix, he's a private detective. Literally every scene, he has a new case that he's supposed to be working on, but the case from 3 scenes prior now has no relevance to the plot. It just sort of drops off completely, and you're like, wait. So this guy did that, and that guy is over there, and this lady is, and if you're trying to keep track of the score, you're going to get bogged down and miss the whole point of the movie.
Oh, I had one question about the Oscars. We can probably talk about this more in our extravaganza, but how did Budapest Hotel not get nominated last year, but it's nominated now?
Because it came out in 2014. It came out after the Oscars last year.
Did it? I thought it came up like right at the same time.
No. And either way, the way it works is a movie has to be screened to be eligible for certain categories like Best Picture. It has to be screening in New York and LA for about 2 weeks. And then there's a few other things that have to go with it. It's a very complicated process.
I know, because I was going to say, how come American Sniper's nominated? And I swear that came out like just now.
Yeah, it can play in other theaters. It'll have limited releases earlier on. So movies like Selma, which literally didn't come out as a wide release until early January. American Sniper, I think, was the end of December. There's a few others like that. That means that they screened earlier.
Why wouldn't everyone just screen earlier?
It costs money to do so.
So they need like Bradley Cooper money.
and depending on what category you're in, the rules are a little bit different. So like if you have a short film, you it literally has to be seen by everyone. Sorry, a person has to see all of the potential nominees in order to be allowed to vote for it. So they go to specific screenings and they go, okay, Sean Chin, you are here. You are now allowed to vote for this category.
Tricky stuff they got going on there.
Yeah.
Do you agree with it? Is it fair?
Yes, it's a complicated process, and for the average person, none of it really makes sense. But in order for people to vote, I think you need to be able to say you've seen them. So as far as the short films, the only way you're allowed to vote is if you've seen all of the nominated ones. For Best Picture, anyone that's a member of the Academy, it doesn't matter what branch you're in, is allowed to vote. For the Directing Award, only the Directing Guild votes on that. So you're basically winning by a jury of your peers for the most part.
That's not fair.
Well, like, how much do you think
they should make me vote?
A cinematographer knows about sound mixing?
Yeah, I guess that's true as well. Did you by any chance take a look at Andreas's top films of the decade so far list?
I did. I actually really liked it. There's quite a few really good.
Usually you hate his lists.
No, I do not.
Joking.
Do not, Andreas. That is not true. Don't listen to Sean. He's just trying to start shit.
Okay.
No, I've seen most of them. I think I saw about 21 of the 25 films, and for the most part, I really agree with a lot of them. I'm surprised with how high some of them ranked, like Foxcatcher, which we've talked about. He feels very differently about it than I do.
I haven't seen it.
It's good. I don't think it's great. He loves it, and he loves Steve Carell in it, because he also called Steve Carell the number 2 performance of the decade so far. But I really like how he put The Master as number 1. That's a fantastic film. And at number 3, a Canadian film called Incendie, which is a severely underseen film that I think everyone needs to see and go in knowing as little as possible.
What makes the film so unseeable? Like, at the beginning I can understand it, but like now when there's so much critical acclaim, how come it's still not as seen as much?
Well, Incendie, it is a French-Canadian film.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
So half the film is in French, and then the other half is in some sort of Arabic language.
Well, that's a big turnoff for Americans. French and Arabic.
It deals with heavy subject matter. It's an intense film. It's not like it's a happy, fun, exciting, adventurous film. It's a heavy subject film.
It's not like Slumdog Millionaire.
No, not in the slightest.
Oh.
The only thing that I'll say about Incendie, if anyone ever wants to watch it, is a mother is dying, and she hands a note to her 2 children, her 2 adult children, saying, the father you thought was dead is still alive, and the brother you never knew you had is also alive. That's all it says. So they basically go on a journey to try to figure out their mother's past.
That's pretty interesting, actually. I might go check that out.
It's amazing, and I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
No, but that's all I knew going in, and it was amazing. And I'm glad that Andreas's summary of it doesn't really give much away, so that's good.
I really liked how Life of Pi just made it onto the list. I love that movie, and I forgot about it until I saw the list again.
It's pretty good. How many of the films had you have seen?
Let's see. Oh, okay. So I saw Life of Pi, Toy Story 3, Inception, Her, Boyhood, and what is this one? Tree of Life, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
You saw the Swedish version?
The English version.
This is the Swedish.
Okay, is there a difference?
Yes, there is.
Oh, god damn it. Okay,
one's in English.
One's in Swedish.
Rooney Mara, and one's in Swedish.
And Social Network, Zero Dark 30, 12 Years a Slave, and The Master. So I did see quite a bit.
That's pretty good.
I don't remember much of them. No, actually I do. I'm joking. I liked her. I think her should have been ranked higher.
Where did he put it at?
13. Oh, 15.
I thought it was pretty amazing, but
I think it's like the most relevant one.
The ones that he put ahead of it, I'd seen almost all of them, and they're all pretty amazing. So it's hard to argue, especially since he includes several foreign films, which I'm very happy about. Amor is fantastic. So is A Separation.
So that's good. Yeah, he made a good list, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I think that's
one of his best lists.
I would agree. I think if you were to say, what are some essential viewing films from the decade so far, I think this perfectly encapsulates both good Hollywood films, good independent films, and good world cinema.
And that's why this is called Capsule.
That's actually an excellent way to put it.
Thank you, Andre. God damn. Thank you, Dakota, for reinforcing the name and encapsulating.
It's Andreas's good work that I'm just letting everyone know that if you haven't seen these films, you should see these films. And so should you, Sean. You should do some homework.
I will do lots of homework. I will win the trivia contest.
Will you? How many are you think you can predict right that win this year?
So let's say on average, let's just say he asked 10 questions. Mm-hmm. I will get at least 2 right.
Whoa.
Which is more than last year's one. So twice as good.
How many Oscar predictions do you think you'll get right?
Oh,
probably. Are you going to fill out a ballot?
Yeah. Are you going to do a ballot? Did we do a ballot?
I did. For my last post, I included a picture of what my ballot looked like, and I got only one wrong. I got 23 out of 24.
I'm going to try see if we can do some friendly fire with another film blog.
Yeah?
Yeah. See how well we do.
You're going to...
I'll probably bring us down, though.
Well, we can also still do, you, me, Andreas, and Adriana.
Yeah, we're going to do that for sure. Hopefully we win.
I'm not going to lose to Randall this time. Yeah. Not like the Polaris Prize.
Tanya Tagak.
Yes.
That's good stuff there.
We have to get her on the podcast.
I don't think that... Yeah, we will do that. We will definitely do that. So where can all of our listeners find you, Dakota?
You can find me on Twitter at DGAPA, where I mostly tweet about baseball and movies.
And you have a blog?
I do. I haven't updated it in 8 months.
Oh, 8. Okay.
But I'll probably be working on some stuff again while I'm doing my Bonnaroo prep work for this year.
Ooh, okay. Looking forward to that. We'll plug that when the time comes.
Thank you.
You can find myself on Twitter at Sean Chin. Please follow the show on Twitter as well at Live in Limbo and use the hashtag Capsule Podcast to join in on the conversation. Please subscribe to the show on iTunes. Show your support, give us 5 stars, and leave some nice words if you like. And of course, you can find the show notes at liveinlimbo.com/capsule. Take care.
Thanks for listening.